mainly because it's not too intense like boxing footwork can be. Some of the other footwork we bounce a lot, but there's still a lot of conditioning within the footwork that we do. I have an injured Achilles tendon, so I've been taking my footwork light and slow, and you can treat your footwork very intense, or you can treat it as more of a yoga style movement or a Tai Chi style movement, so you can take things slowly. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through the Langkah footwork that I do from the Silat system that we learned, which is various actually Silat systems. It's Mafalindo, okay? So I'm just gonna start out with my female triangle step. A lot of this stuff will be familiar to you if you've trained Kali. So I mean, footwork is kind of universal. If you need to move from point A to point B, there's only so many ways you can do it. And as far as combative footwork goes, these movements are going to exist in multiple systems. So let's just look at the way that I use it here for my Silat footwork warm-ups, okay? So I do female triangle to start. So notice as I'm stepping, I think of 3 points, right? I'm not gonna cross up to the top point right now. So I'm just working like a V step, okay? But they'll say, this is the triangle step. Female triangle step or the open triangle step, okay? As I'm doing this, you can see my feet are coming together and then they're moving apart. The stipulation that I have here on making it a little bit more exciting or increase the agility is to not put your feet together and pause and then go here and then feet together and pause. Try to visualize you only have enough room for 1 foot on the back step. So I have to switch my feet. And you can see the agility aspect of the movement increases. So the first thing I teach is match shoulder, right? So this is like a lead that you can throw techniques from, right lead, then left lead, okay? So you just do this a few times, and then I oppose the shoulder. So now I'm gonna keep the shoulder forward here while I'm stepping here. So some people sometimes call this a false lead or opposing shoulder, but this is really important for the entries in Silat. So it's good to have this movement. And if you notice, you can see as I'm standing in the center, my garage frame right there, you can see where my head is at. When I do my footwork, don't leave your head there and just move your feet, because that's where the target is at. People are still going to hit you. So when you step, make sure, look at that space that is created, that I'm actually offline so that I've gained better angle for defense and counter striking, okay? So match shoulder and then opposing shoulder, okay? So that's our open triangle. Now I'm gonna switch to the closed triangle. So I skip back. So this is sometimes called the male triangle or the closed triangle. And now you can see this is retreating, whereas the other one was advancing. So this sometimes will create space and you can work on angulation, okay? Again, matching shoulder, then I would actually keep the shoulder forward as I switch, but still try to get off that line, right? Shoulders forward, because you have torques that you can eventually turn into arm wrenches or manipulations as you include your stepping with your sweeps, okay? So this is the closed triangle step or the V step or the male triangle, right? Okay. So now what I want to do is kind of put my lateral step in with this movement, okay? And the lateral step is pretty simple. It's just you kind of stepping forward, but you notice how I'm not trying to close off that triangle. I'm trying to think still about these 5 points on the ground, or where the two triangles connect in the center line, okay? So as I'm here, I will take the step straight forward and back. An easiest way to think about this, think about like you have skis on, okay? When you do skis, you're not crossing and stepping on your own ski. You slide up, okay? So you see that I'm going from one point to the other. It's just a really direct route. You could, I've seen certain people step to this point and then go here. There's a time and a place for that. For this drill, just go right up to the point, okay? So if I'm working the female step, so I'll step up 1, 2, then I'll do the lateral step, then I do the male step. Switch, then I do the lateral step on this side. So right now I'm going in one direction, okay? Now I want to switch directions. I can drop back to the point and just bring it back up. Now I'm doing the triangle the other way, and then the lateral step in the opposite direction, okay? So they sometimes call this the butterfly step or the butterfly pattern. Okay, I'm going to show you one other butterfly pattern that gets you kind of a way to skip up between your triangles. So as you notice, I would do the V step and then switch, then step back, then do the V step, okay? So I'm really focusing on one triangle at a time as I do the lateral step and come back up. Now, what I'm going to do is follow that same butterfly pattern, except do it differently. I won't do the V step, I'm going to do a skip step. So right now I'm going to skip back, up, skip back, and up. And I also want to change directions on this. And this gets just your conditioning, right? Your footwork. We do a lot of this stuff so that, you know, we increase, we cardio workout here, but it's good also for your coordination, right? If you can't dance, do footwork, okay? And then you're kind of dancing, okay? So that is me using the butterfly kind of pattern where the lateral step kind of is a bit of the focus, where I'm closing off the sides of this box or rectangle. So now let's talk about the full triangle step, okay? So if I'm doing the full female step, now I will step up here to the flat, sometimes we'll call it the base, because it will lay on the flat, and then step back and then switch. So right now I'm going counterclockwise. With the right step was primary. Then I can stop my foot and then I go now clockwise. And I'm only staying on the one triangle. You can do this with a partner as well and stay in sync with each other, and it's a spatial relationship training, okay, and timing. Switch again. Okay, now I want to skip back to the male, so I'll just hop on that line, okay, and stay here. Keep in, you know, I guess I can put my hands in my pockets. Sometimes if you're just doing it to clear your head, you can, if it's cold, keep your hands in your pockets as you do this. But I like to keep my guard up. I'm a JKD guy, so I think about having more of a kind of a boxing structure. But there's a lot of other things happening here. There's entries, torques, switches, pulls, whatever you want is going to start to come out of this stuff, okay? All right, so now that is me working the triangle. And then of course I could change direction as we talked about when we were doing the V step, okay, before we walk the triangle. Now I'm going to put these two together, okay? So let me just go back to the center point. I'm going to start out the same way I started with the top triangle. I go up to the top. Now I'm working what's called the hourglass. Okay, so I'm putting the triangles together. You notice I don't have the lateral step, but I have the skip up step, then stepping up, then stepping back. So you get the advance and the retreat. And again, you do this with a partner. You kind of need to stay in sync. No, not kind of. You should stay in sync, okay? But, you know, if you don't in the beginning, slow it down. Everybody has to establish the rhythm first, and then the tempo, and then get your timing, okay? All right. So now I want to change direction. I can just stop on the anchor point. I like to stop at the center, then I'll go back. And now I'm going the other way. So now I'm going clockwise in the top triangle and counterclockwise in the bottom. Okay, pretty simple. Now, as it stands right now, some of the things that we do, there's different ways to change direction. That's the one that I think is pretty simple. I just stop at the center point and just come back, right? Stop. Then reverse it. That's an easy one to do, okay? But now, what if I want to turn around? I'm going to use an easy one as well. There's a lot of advanced ones that we can use here. So I get on the anchor point and I back kick my leg to that corner, okay? Then I keep going. So again, stop on the back leg, kick backwards, turn to the corner, like that. Just think of the points of the triangles. That's where your feet want to go. Okay, so that's the Silat footwork as far as the triangle stuff goes. I'm going to give you one more. I got class to teach here in a little bit, so this is kind of a nice warm-up for me. So Langkah means stepping, okay? And when it's used in the term for martial arts, the stepping is like the purposeful footwork. You move with the purpose. If you're going to step, sometimes they hit, kick, whatever, but they're in position now to throw or destabilize their opponent, okay? So that's important to understand that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start out, I'm gonna do like a staircase, but because of the frame of the camera, I only have so much room before I would go off screen. So I'm gonna do it a few times. But normally we would do 4 advancing, 4 retreating, and then you could go up in the other direction. So right now I'm gonna do a right foot step, so I can visualize somebody through the punch. I went here, this foot is the anchored foot right now, okay? So I'm going to, I have this clearing. When I push, I'm using this hand to keep the shoulder, keep the person looking away from me. And I go here, okay? So they will call these the sapus, okay? Which it could be sapu dalam or sapu luar. I don't know, I don't have a reference point here for, I don't have a training partner to demonstrate that, but it can be either one. It just depends on your position. The movement is the same, okay? So think about it like that. So let me just run through this. So I'm gonna step, I turn, I sweep and push at the same time. Then I step. So that was like a vertical line. Now I would visualize I'm in the horizontal line. I turn, I look, I push and sweep. Then I step forward. Okay, now I'm gonna go off camera if I keep doing this. We normally do it 4 times advancing. Now I'm gonna go into my bizet. So the first one is bizet dalam, right? Which is, you guys should be familiar with this. If you've done any Silat, where you get the arm break or some head control or an arm wrench and the back sweep. I went from the vertical line to the horizontal line on a diagonal slide back. Then I do the same thing here and I kind of end up back in my position. Again, we would do 4 so I can get 4 sweeps forward and 4 sweeps back. Now I trained one side. That was pretty much me working up to my left side. Now I need to work up to my right side. So I just step over here. Okay, now my left foot is the first to step, turn, sweep, step. So that was my vertical sweep. Now I'm going on the horizontal line, okay? Turn, sweep, and step, okay? So I got 2. I guess I could do a couple more, but I just don't want to go off frame for consistency. So now bizet, arm break with the back sweep. Arm break with the back sweep, and I'm back to position, okay? So I think in Kali we call that Willis, which is a sweeping kick, and that can be done in the front of somebody's legs, or we say maybe possibly to the inside of their leg. And then there's also one that goes to the outside of the leg, which is a very common one. I mean, sometimes people call it a reaping throw, and we could do it that the same way, right? So I would step, sweep, and now instead of the arm break, where I would break the arm here or wrench the arm, right now I think I have my hand on their chest, and I can go back, hand on the chest or the face, and I go back, and I'm back in this position. So I go to the left side, push, always remember get that push, and you could also augment the push that you might go here and transfer here as you destabilize the person and push them off balance. Okay, then I'm here and I step. Now I think that my hand is, I've done an entry, my hand is maybe on their face, and I can, my leg is behind their leg. So now I'm getting that back sweep, okay? But it's still a bizet. So dalam is inside, luar is outside, and you're just working through that footwork. So there's a lot more of the footwork that we do, but this is a great warm-up, okay? That you spend 10 minutes on it, and your heart rate's up, you feel pretty good. You can go hit the heavy bag, do whatever you want, or work your Silat entries. So being a JKD school, I've trained multiple systems and different disciplines, and I'm certifying in different disciplines that they all add to me as a whole for the different training and attributes that I develop and the way that I like to work through this stuff, okay? So if you like this video, leave some comments, okay? And there's more, there's a lot more, but I didn't want to make this an extremely long video. I just wanted to share with you some of my workout today. So anyway, thank you guys so much. I have a YouTube channel, go check that out, Wolf Martial Arts, and website, wolfmartialarts.net. I'll be doing more videos, and thank you guys for watching and joining in and leaving some comments. Take care, have a good day. I gotta go teach class.